Okay, so we're ready to start our council meeting. And of course, the first item is the approval of agenda and order of business. I have a couple of little things. 5.3 Mayor's Wardens meeting update. I left all of my notes, the minutes and everything else down in the office. So I'd like to defer that until next week. And
I would have one item for closed session. It's information item and a land matter.
Okay. Anyone else have anything they wish to add?
I have just a quick Region 6 update.
Okay.
Super quick.
Okay. If there's nothing else, somebody prepared to move the adoption of the agenda and order of business as amended?
So moved.
Seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. So we have the minutes of the previous meeting, November the 25th. Any errors or omissions there?
Motion to
I'll move,
approve.
we approve them. I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, motions requiring approval from council December the 2nd meeting of committee of the whole. Does anybody want anything separated there? If not, motion to approve would be in order.
Motion to
So
approve the
moved.
recommendations.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay. Nominating committee recommendations. Councillor Church.
Yes, I don't know if you can see them. They're not on the screen, but
I have my paper copy so I can see it.
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, unless there's any anyone wish to change, I will move that we recommend the new appointments.
Seconder.
Second,
Seconded. Discussion. All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay. Okay, 5.3 is deferred, so we're on to any other committee reports. Nobody indicated any. Oh, yes, Andre. I guess that's where you would probably fit in, Region 6.
Yeah, no problem. We met when was it? December 3rd, I believe. And there was really the only two interesting items on the agenda was an update on Sustain, which we're quite familiar with that project. They gave their presentation. A lot of it was overview of, you know, what is Sustain and stuff like that. I think many of the members were already somewhat familiar with that. They sort of described some of the challenges that they're facing now with the variety of waste that they're dealing with, and how that's, you know, they're having a little bit of sorting issues with that, but they seem still quite optimistic, just a bit vague on the timelines. So anyways, I think that Sustain probably will be coming to see us soon, probably, I would think.
Yeah.
Give us directly an update. So there was that, and then the budget for the 2022-2023 was approved by the intermunicipal committee, and so I expect that that will be coming to our council soon, and we'll have a chance to look at that. And that was pretty much the only things that were of a real consequence on the agenda.
Okay.
Now, let me
Question.
start.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to mention that I had a committee report that I forgot to mention at first. Sorry, you go ahead, Derek. Yeah.
Okay,
Just had
Derek.
a question for Andre. Andre, just trying to get a sense of what this report stems from. Is that regular community meetings you have? What's the,
Region 6 is in 1998, I believe, the province mandated 7 regions around the province to deal with our solid waste. So there's a lot of waste that we do not landfill, and it's diverted. And we have, when those materials are diverted, we get certain what they call credits back. Basically, we get some of our own tax back as an incentive to perform better, because they have targets for diversion from landfills. So Region 6 is a way of coordinating those municipalities within our region so that we can communicate effectively with the province.
and that would be all of Lunenburg County and elsewhere?
It's Lunenburg, Queens, Shelburne,
Okay,
Hanses. It's a fairly large area.
okay. Go, just trying to get used to the structure here. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That's what this is.
Okay, anyone else, any questions, comments? If not, Abdallah, I guess we'll let you give your report.
Oh, okay, sorry. And just for Derek's information, it's called SHAC. It's a South Shore Housing Action Coalition, and that's, they concentrate on all kinds of housing, affordable housing. Anyway, I'm on that committee, and we met on the 1st of December. Actually, there's a pilot project going on in Bridgewater. The gentleman's name is Mark Powell, and it's called the Maritime Housing Option. It's a nonprofit. Now, this is not so much, there's going to be 4 prototype houses built in Bridgewater. They're exploring possibilities now. It was pretty vague. We couldn't really get a lot of information from them. So, but anyway, another part of the meeting, I suggested that now that we have our 3 MLAs in our area, Susan Corcoran Greek and Danielle Barkhouse and Kim Maslin, and that we're going to invite them to a SHAC meeting and get them on board and see if that we're all on the same page. Bring it to their attention. Maybe they can help us in some way. So that's all I have from SHAC, but that's what that's about, Derek.
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure, you can.
So is there, when you're having this committee meeting and you're meeting with the MLAs, are you getting information on new provincial programs that may be available for, you call it affordable, I like to call it accessible housing, attainable housing? Because I understand the province is coming out with some funding incentives, and do you have information on that, or will you be getting, or would that come through another?
No, we haven't said it's Mr. Kangata, who is the chair of the meetings. He's going to try to set it up and set an agenda to see what we want to ask them, have them sit in on the meeting. There's nothing set because, as you said, they're waiting. I guess our biggest, from my view, because there's an elected official from town of Lunenburg, town of Bridgewater, Modal, our municipality, Queens, and we have a separate what's called an elected group, because there's also appointments there. Mm-hmm. And this is something that we asked to have done as well, but to meet with the whole SHAC committee, just to I guess to get them on board, because we haven't traditionally been involved in housing as a municipality, but I think from everything that I'm hearing from other municipalities, they want to be involved in some way. Now, how that's going to work, that's another matter, but I think there's some appetite for that. As a matter of fact, I suggested at the meeting that we bring Tina in to a meeting, because they have done some work in New Ross, and we're gonna work on that and try to set that up as well with Tina, that she can sort of explain, because some of the new members wanted to know as well, to be brought up to date on what the nuts and bolts issues were, who they would contact, and if they had a nonprofit group that was interested and I mentioned it to Tina, and I think she's on board with doing a presentation if we have to do that. So just to bring other members on board.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
I'll just add to that, Derek. I would be shocked if when the MLAs aren't there, they don't ask them for an update on what the available funding programs are and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, I would think something like that might come directly to council too, would it, as opposed to just this committee?
Oh, yes, yes, oh, yeah, absolutely, yes. Yep.
Anyone else, any questions? Okay, Michael Haddle, that's not until 9:45. I just don't know what time it is. Oh, it's only 9:13. So we're on to 7.1, information report prepared by regarding extension of winter sidewalk maintenance and service contracts. So I assume, Krista, yeah, there you are.
Morning, Council.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi. Hi, Derek. We haven't met yet. I mean, Councilor Wells. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So this one, hopefully is pretty straightforward. The extension of the winter sidewalks, maintenance service contracts.
We got to extend it this morning.
Sorry, Council. So we had it in the works. This report's just getting to council, but we wanted to touch base on the roundabout as well. So assuming that you've all read the report, in short, you know that we have about 4.5 kilometers of sidewalk within the municipality. We have a contract with a gentleman in New Ross to complete those sidewalks, and we also have the Gerhardt's contract. You know, the last few years, COVID, and a year prior to that, I think we were looking at our own options. We've been delayed this year, particularly with resources, to put out the new tender for this winter maintenance for the municipality. So we've gone ahead and secured Gerhardt's. So they are out there right now plowing, luckily for us. And you can see the rates below that they have agreed upon for the 21-22. The biggest item on there that would be different is our new roundabout. So last year we had gone ahead and due to liability issues felt at the time, because there was some ice and things on that sidewalk at the roundabout. We did have them clear them probably 2, 3, 4 maybe times. And it is a bit of a challenging one for them because it's not part of their original contract. They don't have all the gear to do like we do here. They have like a Hubbard station and then they have their gear in each area. So this one, they have to bring in their skid steer. And it's also very challenging due to transportation pushing in the loads of snow back and forth. So it is a little higher than $2,000 a month over 5 months. So today they are going to clear it just for lack of knowing at this point. So I just want to have that discussion with council to determine if you want it continued cleared over the winter. If not, we'll remove that as well.
Well, why doesn't highways have responsibility? I know we probably had this discussion. I just don't remember. So I want to be updated on, they build it, they own it. I don't know why it is that they don't.
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I'm hoping someone else could answer that, but initially we didn't even know there was a sidewalk going in. So until it arrived there, but it seems that once it goes in, we're responsible. They do not clear it. They do take care of the yard, like the grass and things like that, but otherwise it's on us and it's our decision. And last year, like I said, there was some ice and different things there. Not sure how many people use the sidewalk, but still it could be a liability. But the sidewalks don't go too far, but it's totally up to council's discretion.
Yeah. If Floyd,
I heard you use the word liability, and I question that. Why would be our liability? If we didn't build it, it's not on our property, and we had nothing to do with it. So I don't see how we would be liable. And it's maybe Sam could make a comment on that.
Well,
I don't see it.
well, typically with these sidewalks, as you know, are all on Department of Transportation property. And council typically has a motion when they take over a sidewalk. You might recall we took over the one in front of the health center. So you're right. Unless we formally take it over, I don't see where it's municipal property or municipal responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the most part, I mean, yeah, they may well be on their property, but we paid for having them constructed. It was at our request, and like this, we didn't do anything. I don't know who used it, Sharon.
The tricky part is if we start maintaining it,
Yeah,
then we may assume liability by the fact that we started it. So we've got to be careful here.
So we wouldn't be responsible for repairs or anything.
No, it's not unless we formally take it over, as
Okay.
we've done with sidewalks in the past.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. I don't really see why we should do it unless there's a. Yeah. Sharon, do you have a comment?
Well, I know we will get complaints when it's not being done. You know, whether highways will do it in the end, I don't know. But I know that I will get complaints from the people, you know, Wake Up Hill and Marriott's Cove about it. They do walk, but it's a lot to have it plowed, but
How much would it cost?
$10,000.
10,000 a year, 2,000 a month.
Easy.
Okay, I see it, 10,125 for the year.
Yeah, it's just that we don't own it. I mean, we didn't even ask to have it built. And if we,
A lot of money.
well, I mean, like, if the sidewalk starts to deteriorate, are we supposed to fix it, or is highway supposed to fix it? I mean, I think that if we stay out of it, then it's clear they are. But Adela,
I think we need to get it resolved. We'll
Yeah.
have to have a conversation with highway on this.
Yeah,
Why-
yeah, sorry, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe Krista can you talk to Gerhardt maybe and just, I mean, they did it today. We don't have a signed contract. And I'd hate to sign something for that amount of money. I mean, I know it's important maybe today. Have they done it today? Do you know, or will they do it today?
I'll double check. They were going to if we weren't sure for today. But I know it talks with the regular TIR staff. They have no intention on clearing it themselves or anything.
Well, we need to resolve it. We need to say, tell the highway that it's, you know, it's your responsibility. And I think to make it clear, I mean, I don't know what else to do. It's not ours. That's crazy.
my problem is I don't really mind spending the $10,000 to clear it, but I don't want to assume the legal liability, because if it is in disrepair, or if they come along, it's a difficult one to keep clean, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how we would maintain the level of clearing that would keep us from becoming liable.
Well, you say people walk there, so now are they going to walk on the street now?
That's what they did before.
They didn't have a roundabout before.
I know that, but we don't own it.
Oh, I know that. But are we putting people in danger by not plowing it?
But the Department of Highways is.
Well,
I think that's the way I'm looking at it.
yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, I've driven that roundabout. I never noticed the sidewalk there, so I don't even know where exactly it is. I'll have to go and drive around and see. But if people are using it, and I mean, that can be a dangerous place, presumably. I don't know. Is it Sharon? Would it be dangerous to cross there without the sidewalk?
Well, I mean, they're walking into traffic. If they're coming down Wake Up Hill, usually they'll walk down Wake Up Hill to go to Marriott's Cove.
Yeah.
There is a sidewalk on the one side where you can, you know, walk onto Highway 3. Honestly, how much it's used, I do know that people walk quite a bit from Wake Up Hill down to Marriott's Cove.
Yeah.
You know, whether they walk on the number 3, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they did adjust it because they had the sidewalk ending and they had like a curb, and you couldn't even get on the road safely. So they did fix that. So, I mean, you know, people do walk. How much? I don't really know. I know some people do, but
Dan, is this something that highways may come around now? What's your thought? You deal with them a bit.
I wouldn't be optimistic that they would accept responsibility for sidewalk clearing. I think they would be mindful of establishing a precedent that might impact operations in other counties. And I don't believe they have sidewalk equipment because municipalities typically maintain sidewalks. So I would have low optimism that they would agree to maintain it. That's not to say you can't ask formally, but that would be my take on the lay of the land.
Can I ask another question, Mr. Warden, somewhat related, I think?
You gotta wait
There's
your
another.
turn.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Andre. He has his hand up, yeah.
Okay, Andre, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, you know, I guess Sharon doesn't know 100% how it's used. I was curious about that too. I saw this on the agenda and I was wondering about it. I've walked on that sidewalk for an unrelated reason, but it doesn't really go anywhere. So, you know, if people are, I guess if they're going from Wake Up Hill down into Marriott's Cove, you could use it to get around the roundabout, but otherwise it serves no function. But on the same token, you know, if Sharon feels that, you know, people in that area are using it, and whether I would be inclined to want to support Sharon and those people if they feel that's important to them. You know, maybe it's providing access to the trail from the people on Wake Up Hill. I mean, that could be the method that they use to get to the trail. And so if we could somehow get our heads around how it's being used, I think it would be easier for me to make a decision.
Could we speak to some people out there and see?
Well, I can. I know it is being used. You know, how much, you know, I can throw an email out to the Marriott's Cove Association or some groups and ask them their thoughts on it.
That's a good idea, Sharon.
If you want some feedback for the next meeting.
Yeah. I mean, even I wouldn't even mind myself if it's being used. I don't really see anybody in it, but that's besides the point. I just might be the wrong time of day when I'm driving through. But clearing the snow off it isn't such a big deal. But it's what happens if it needs maintenance and we don't own the damn thing. You know, like,
well, I think
how far are we going? I mean, we didn't build it. We don't own it. It's whatever. Who's going to maintain it?
Yeah, my thoughts on that is we need to have a conversation regarding that part.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be okay with plowing it. We do other areas. This should be no different. It's a sidewalk, but as far as ownership, and it could be a bit complex to fix the sidewalk there because it's a little different. I think it's not pavement. It's even what do you call it? Stones or.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the easiest thing to repair. So
well,
I think
somebody's going to have to go fix the thing. It's almost a given, right?
Well, I don't know. We have to. I think we need to speak to transportation about that one. I don't know whether.
What do you want to do? Plow it until we sort it out, or what?
Yes, I would like that.
Well, once you start plowing, it's going to be hard to stop.
I know that. Well, we did it last year too, just for the same freaking reason, really. Yeah, Krista.
And I'm just checking now to see if they plowed it. So if they haven't, we can cancel it. So
Oh.
I'll leave that as which option you want to go with.
Well, yes, Floyd.
I think we should plow it and try to work out an understanding with TIR that we are going to keep it clear, but with the clear understanding, maybe some sort of a letter of correspondence that they're going to be responsible for the maintenance.
Yeah, of the sidewalk itself.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I'm hearing. That was next thing we
Yep.
loaned it. You know, and
Yeah,
Well,
I like that idea.
but I also think, Sharon, your idea of contacting Marriott's Cove Association and see how much is it actually used? Is it something that they want to spend $10,000 in taxpayers' money? I'm sure they will, but I'm just saying, I think it's reach out to them would be a good thing to get their input.
yeah,
Yeah, I will. And I will, and I'll bring it back to our next council meeting.
Okay, so then the consent, okay, sorry, Floyd.
Just
and then-
one more comment. If you didn't have the sidewalk cleared, I would think it'd be pretty difficult to get through that roundabout if you were a pedestrian trying to get from point A to point B. But that's just my thought on it. So I think if we could get an understanding that they are totally responsible for the maintenance, I think we should look after the plowing. That's yeah.
Dan? Dan first and then Sharon. You're on mute, Dan. Dan, you're on mute. Dan,
Can't hear you.
mute. You're on mute.
My apologies. Yeah, I didn't want to interfere with council's moving towards a direction and decision on Marriott's Cove. I think it's important to provide you information that there's another section of sidewalk that has been constructed this summer privately.
That's what I was going to raise. That was my issue.
Okay.
Well,
I think it's Regent Street. So the municipality, it's a small section, maybe 10, 20 meters. My understanding, and Tara might have, Krista might have more insight. The municipality was not consulted. So I understand that the property owner had discussions with the province and permission was received, but we were not involved in any decision making there. And so it's not in our contract to clean that section.
No, see, that's the trouble.
Yeah, that was the issue I was going to raise, Mr. Warden. That's
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I don't think other people should be building sidewalks and assuming we're going to maintain.
that's the issue.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so once we start it,
Then
then
you're where you stop. Yeah.
and how can we do this one at Mary's Cove and not do the one on Regent Duke?
I don't know how you do it either. No. I mean, there's no way in the world that we should be maintaining sidewalks built by other people. Yeah. Dell, I guess it's your turn. Sharon.
So I'm sorry, Krista, I guess your predicament is you need a decision.
Yeah.
So can we defer the contract that they do it for all the time? Like I know they didn't do it today, obviously.
It's not done yet.
I haven't heard
And
yet.
And it's gonna rain this weekend, but I'm just trying to find, because I think we need the province involved in this before we start making decisions about spending $10,000.
Yeah, it's not only that, but what the one that Sam or Dan just brought up, that's a public, I mean,
Well, that's right. We're setting precedent here.
we can't
If we
just maintain
start-
sidewalks for other people.
No, and that's, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Sharon.
The last comment, I'll leave it at this. If we don't plow it, like Councillor Schaper said, it will be problematic because all of the snow will be plowed onto the sidewalk. So if there's any likelihood that someone would use it, they couldn't. I mean,
Well, then they should call Department of Transportation and complain about it. Well,
well,
they're the owners.
We
We're
get the
going to call
calls.
you. Sharon.
maybe, but
Call Danielle.
we'll be the ones to get the phone call.
Sure, and I'll refer them to Danielle. Yeah, Tina?
Thank you. So my question is, I guess for Sam, in both of these cases, and we could be seeing more of them down the road, of course, in both of these cases, they're built by other parties, whether it be the
Yeah.
province or private.
Mhm.
So the same decision would have to be made. Would you believe this, Sam?
Well, in one case, one was built by the province, it was built by a public entity as part of the, infrastructure program. So you could make a distinction there. But I think probably what's more important is whether the sidewalk regardless of who built it, does the sidewalk serve a useful public function? And I just draw your attention to the section of sidewalk in front of the health center, which was built by a private nonprofit organization, but the municipality determined it was a useful addition to the existing sidewalk network and took it over. And,
Yeah.
and it had to be built to municipal standards and the whole thing, you know? So I think it might be a policy that you would adopt that say if a sidewalk were built by whoever, it was municipal standards, it was integrated into an existing system and it served a public good. That would be your criteria to do it.
But we'd want to be consulted before it was built to make that
Exactly.
determination,
Oh,
not
I-
after. the fact.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree. That's right. It's really.
Yeah, ask us before you do it.
That's right. It's a bit of an affront to just do it and then come back afterwards. Yes.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work.
No.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, what do we want to do? Andre? You're on mute.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
So I just want to sort of reiterate that I really feel like I need to understand the usage here. Prior to the roundabout, crossing that intersection as a pedestrian was somewhat dangerous, but in a different way. In the absence of sidewalks, getting around that and snow, it could be a real problem potentially if it is being used to access the Marriott's Cove subdivisions and the trail. And if that is how it's being used, then, you know, maybe it does serve a useful function, and we should be providing that as a service. And so I'm kind of looking to Sharon to give me some guidance on how she feels it should be used. And if she feels strongly that that it's important and it provides a conduit for people to access trails or other recreational walking or whatever it is that they want to do, then I don't really have a reason to stand in the way. It's $10,000 is not, is not that much if it's serving a useful function. And I don't want to get caught up in, well, this guy over here built a little piece of sidewalk, or should we do that? I don't want this tit for tat thing. I just, does the community need it or want it? And does it support our mandate, if it's recreation or transportation or something that's within our normal scope of services that we provide as a municipality? If we're supporting that, then, I'm okay with it. So I guess I'm kind of looking to Sharon to provide guidance on this one.
All right, Sharon?
Yeah, I will reach out, but I don't need to know the response because people do walk a lot in that area. And I mean, they access the trail. They're delighted that the trail is there and they use it. So it is, an access point. I no doubt in my mind that that's the reaction that I will get. And in fact, when it was being built, the Marriott's Cove group were adamant that they continue with the sidewalks to make it, easy to get on them with a stroller even. So I will reach out, but I know what the answer is going to be, that they do use it and they would like to have it as, an access point to get to the trail or just walk, biking. Walking.
Eric?
I don't disagree, but what I would like to do is distinguish by policy the public good, to distinguish it from the Duke Regent Street one. We don't want to get into a position where private sidewalks are built, we're saddled with them. We need to have it in policy that we need to make the distinction somehow, so we don't have to come back. It's not tit for tat. It's just a matter of not getting stuck with private sidewalks that we don't endorse.
Yeah, I agree. I could live with taking over a provincial one. I mean, it's a public one still, but we've got to come up with a policy that deals with these ones built by private sector, because they have to consult with us and we have to agree before it's built, not after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's maintain this one. Plow the snow. We'll have a discussion with highways about the long-term maintenance and who's going to be responsible for that. We have to sort that out. And staff, obviously, to add to your list of things to do, we need a sidewalk policy that deals with those built by people other than us and how we're going to deal with it in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that sounds great, Council. I think what we would do also is write the property owner for that private sidewalk to inform them.
That is,
our intention not to maintain it.
yeah. Okay, somebody want to make all that a motion?
So moved.
Seconder? Seconded, discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion is carried. Just for your information, the Michael Heddle presentation has been delayed till the new year. Okay, so now we're at my first reading of outdoor fire bylaw 7.2. So we made the changes. I guess, I don't know. Is anybody presenting on this issue, or we're just giving up?
Unless you need a presentation, council,
No,
we were
I don't
it was a
think so.
referral from committee of the whole to refer to first reading.
Okay, so we just need to make a
Yep.
motion to adopt it first reading.
Correct.
Motion to adopt first reading.
Seconder, second, discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Okay, 8.1 correspondence, Minister of Municipal Affairs regarding the establishment of a code of conduct working group for municipalities and villages. Well, talking about that for a long time.
Yep.
They should have one for themselves, I think, first. But
So council, that was added because it was addressed to elected officials and an information item to keep you informed of the progress.
yeah, if anybody wants to join it, contact them. If not, it's information. Okay, 8.2, Lunenburg County Senior Safety Partnership, Honorable Barbara Adams, Minister of Seniors and Long-Term Care regarding funding for senior safety programs. So basically, people are signing up on this letter to request that they increase the funding availability. So I guess the question is, do we want to be part of that group of municipalities that are supporting it? Tina?
I know my answer.
Oh, yeah.
Overwhelmingly, yes. And so that would be much appreciated, because I know that the secondary letter that came with that was addressed to the mayors and warden of Lunenburg County. And the last paragraph in that correspondence, because the majority of that letter dealt with the budget, which will be coming to us, but the last paragraph, for everybody else's information, it references that letter. Attached, you will find a copy of our letter to Minister Adams. We are requesting that your council consider sending a message to the minister in support of our request for increased provincial funding for senior safety programs. So I would, and I know the group would really appreciate a hearty letter, a hearty letter to go off to be sent to the province, if that's okay.
Are you making that a motion, Tina?
I absolutely, yes, would make that a motion.
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that emotion.
Do we have any discussion on that motion? The more money that the province provides, the less we'll have.
Or more.
Well, whatever.
That's a great program.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, 9.1, district council grant requests, $1,000 for Sites Community School, Christmas dinner, artwork projects. Yeah, they asked me about that, and I can afford to do it out of my district grant program, and they're in a similar situation to an awful lot of community groups. They haven't been able to have the public in. They haven't been able to do the fundraising that they normally do in order to be able to do these sorts of things. So I'm in support of providing them with a $1,000 district grant request. But I can't make it.
Motion to approve.
Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. And a request to release $100 to the Chester Basin Fire Department out of the funds we collect for them.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion is carried. And to the very best of my knowledge, that is the end of the agenda, other than the in-camera items, unless I'm mistaken.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to take a 10-minute break and then we'll come back to the camera. I need to get a new coffee.